All right, so you might remember I did a nice comparison note on a Yukon XL. And I was sitting there actually wondering, why would you have a Yukon XL? Now, you might say a reason might be to pull a trailer, like say a boat. But the other reason is it's the number of seats. Okay? I don't know what. Once a week you take part of the soccer team to practice. Okay? Something like that. So you need sitting room every once in a while for 8 people. For those of you who remember it, this was a desperate woman who passed me in a no passing zone on 1431. And you could see that there was a young girl sitting in her passenger seat. So, I mean, anyway, whatever. Peace and harmony. That's not what this is about. The question is, well, what if I need to take 8 passengers someplace? What can I do other than have a Yukon XL, or as it turns out, a Toyota Sequoia, something like that. Some with a lot of seats that sucks gas like we need to frack all of Pennsylvania to make oil. Of course, the oil we use to make gas comes from overseas. It doesn't come from the U.S. Right? You've heard that, right? Our refineries are set up to, refine heavy oil? I always get confused whether it's heavy or light. But that's the difference, is our refineries are set up for heavy oil. Right? I don't know if the new ones are making it for light. I'm pretty sure that's what we have, is light oil. But anyway, that's all besides the point. But it leads to the point I'm really trying to make, and that is, why would you use a gas-burning vehicle? Because if you use electricity is generated here in the United States of America. And if you're in Texas, it's generated here in Texas. Okay? So, is there an alternative? Not today. Okay. So Tesla has this thing called RoboTaxi. And as it turns out, from the third quarter earnings call they just had a couple of days ago, they're already running at trial in San Francisco. They're only running for employees, but they are running trial version. All right, so what if you bought 2 used Model 3s? Okay, the run hardware 3, that's a whole question to some people, but Elon has promised one way or the other, FSD unsupervised will run on those Model 3s. So you could buy 2 used Model 3s for, if you buy a used EV for under $25,000, you get $4,000 off tax credit. Of course, you have to qualify for it and all that, yada, yada, yada. But say you did that, your cost for those 2 cars would be $42,100. Oh, wait, okay. There's $42,100, take off the $8,000, it drops to $4,100. If you then turn around and purchase FSD for both of those, FSD costs $8,000 per license. Although you can subscribe, right? If you subscribe, it's $100, $99 a month. All right, so if you bought FSD licenses for those 2 cars, that's $16,000. Would bring your total purchase price up to $50,100. Okay, so going back and doing the comparison. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, so this Yukon XL was getting around 16 miles per gallon. So at gas at 260, that XL would, for 16 miles, would pay $2.60. One Model 3 would use 4 kilowatt hours at 11 cents, would cost 44 cents for that trip. You multiply that by 2, you paid 88 cents. So every 16 miles, you're saving $1.72. It starts adding up. And because you have 2 cars, you don't have to run both of them all the time. You only have to run both of them when you need to carry that many passengers. Now, there's no way to look at this. If you did a lease, you can lease a brand new Model 3. They're saying it's available for $216 a month. $216. Subscribe to FSD for $99. And so your monthly, I didn't add it up, sorry. So it's $310. Well, it's $315. So for $315 a month, you can have a brand new Model 3 driving for you. And that lease term is 36 months. It's only 10,000 miles a year, but you can adjust that depending on what you want to do. And it's $2,999 down. Now, is that the deal they have today? I don't know. It varies so much. Those prices go up and down. Well, mostly down, but anyway, there you go. The point I'm making here is, instead of driving this ungodly Yukon XL, you could be driving a Model 3. And for those occasions when you need 2 cars, with RoboTaxi, you could have 2 cars transporting your group. Now, would it be as much fun? Maybe not, but to each his own. You know, you develop 2 clicks instead of 1 big click. Although even in a Yukon XL, you could have clicks. The other way you could look at it, and I'm not one to push this one as much, but you could get a Model Y and add the 3rd row to it. Now, the 3rd row is uncomfortable for adults. For people like me, it's uncomfortable. And for a woman, it's somewhat uncomfortable. Okay? But it's another alternative. Get a Model Y. Let's see, you could sit 7 people in the Model Y, including the driver. Okay? If you only need room for 7, that's a reasonable alternative, assuming that we're talking about small kids. Okay, anyway, peace and harmony. The real point is, you should sit down and think about it before you buy a Yukon XL or something like that. There are alternatives. The question is, are those alternatives reasonable for you? Okay? Onward, upward, charge.